Let's get down to business to complete this ride. Did they send me couches when I asked for a bikes? I'm the saddest cyclist that you'll ever meet, but you can bet before we're through, viewer, I'll show the coast to you. Slow as a tortoise, with symptoms of IBS within. Once I find my groove, then I'm sure to win. I'm a spineless, pale, pathetic judge, and I haven't got a clue. Somehow I'll complete this ride for you. I'm never gonna catch my breath. Say goodbye to those who knew me. That's not right. Say goodbye to my day off. Boy, was I full for reading instead of hitting the gym. This ride's got me scared to death. Hope this bike is no wrong break on me. Now I really wish that I knew how to swim. Maybe I am Josh. I must be swift as a coursing cyclist. With all of the force of a great biker, I am Josh. With all the strength of a raging cokehead, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Let's go again. Another journey. I'm at it again. I'm hoping to once again complete the longest bike ride of my life. Oh my god, my hair looks horrible. Whew, I'm not gonna get into it. It's the hair dryer. Okay, I'm gonna have a helmet on. I just wanted my hair clean. I'm headed to the bus. Left my bike at the train station. Realized this kind of ride is better to complete along the coast. If you were seeing the last vlog, which should be going up tonight, the day that I'm filming this, I went the longest ride of my life, just under 120. Today my goal is 125, and I'm a little nervous. After last time, I'm acutely aware of just how hard it is. I'm more prepared this time, more food. Leaving earlier at 7:20 now, I think. The weather today is close to what it was last time. In the winter here, it gets super, super rainy, which is partly why I'm here 2 weeks after my last ride. The books that I'm going to be reading, I'll get into once I start them. I'm in the middle of a few right now, actually, but I'm not sure if I'll be reading them on this ride because they're books I don't want to rush through. 9 to 12 hours of being out and about. I just don't want to spend that much time on one book because they're long. I'm pacing myself with them. But I really want to finish some stuff this ride. We're only 10 kilometers in, and I already have my first problem, my own stupidity. My bike thing broke off. So I'm gonna use my advanced engineering skills to figure out how I can make it work with just one piece. Ugh. Okay, I'm not confident it's gonna work. I can still do this, and like this piece, and this, so strapping it down so it won't necessarily move. But I think what I need is a bundle cord. It was not like a Home Depot-esque store nearby. I'm not confident this is gonna work. I think the trip's actually gonna not work out, but I'm gonna keep pushing forward. It's 9 o'clock. I've lost a lot of time. Let's just keep pushing and hope it does. I'm tired and I'm stressed. I am not in the headspace for this ride. I'm not ready to give up though. I'm in Collegeville, it's like right by the train station. But much if I said this, but I started by going south before I went north. I don't know. I didn't want to stop yet. All I could think was how badly I wanted to stop and eat. And I know, like, even with all these issues, last time, the biggest thing is the headspace. I just don't feel like I'm off to a good start. What happened was I basically was going around a pole and the bag hit it and it broke it. It's also broke this container. Luckily it's not too juicy, but I just feel like I'm going to fail at this. And it's just a completely different headspace than last time. I think it's too windy here to talk about the book. I'll just say I'm reading How Democracies Die. I'm enjoying it, and I'll insert more dialogue after this. Although I'm probably going to switch for the next ride, just change it up. But I am enjoying this one, so let's talk about it. On to the ride. How Democracies Die has been remarkably engaging and informative. Published in 2018, I think one might mistake it as a recent publication with Trump's re-election up for grabs, or up to be occurring. And part of the reason I was feeling sort of stressed at the beginning of this ride, besides the bike itself, was just thinking about this more and how I don't want to talk about this. I'm more in the headspace, and I'm sure y'all probably don't want to hear it, so I don't say too much other than the fact that it's a really interesting book that is looking at the way in which democracies die or have come close to dying across the world throughout history, with, of course, Trump as the central context of this entire conversation, of Trump as a demagogue. And what's sad is just how much closer Trump's demagoguery, I guess is the best way to describe it, has come to the forefront as time has gone on. He lost the presidency. He convinced people to attack the Capitol because he lost it. And even now, he has enhanced powers because of the judicial system. And another action that is consistent with other failed democracies, and of course is emboldened by party affiliates. He has not just the presidency this time, of course, as before, but he'll have the judiciary system on the side. He'll have Congress being heavily, almost entirely, exclusively Trumpian. There will be no more middle-of-the-road Republicans to push back against his extremism. And of course, that will also be true in his Congress, in his actual White House, where he has heightened powers because of the judiciary. And I say all this because, for one, we should be voting, we should be engaged, and we shouldn't pretend like this isn't what it is, which is a legitimate threat to our democracy. It is extremely blatant, and I think this book is a really good source to explore that and to understand how and why this is as bad as it seems. Whether it be a slow decay or an immediate one, we are on a very bad track, and this book really highlights why. Oh God, my hair. I'm much more vibing, I guess. I'm in a much better mood. I'm more confident in my ability to do this. I'm behind, depending on how you look at it. Obviously, I started an hour earlier, but I also went 10 kilometers south. It's an extra 20 kilometers that I got only in the first hour, which I guess is an okay time. It feels like I'm falling behind because of that issue that slowed me down. But we're here. I'm at, I think, 50 kilometers plus the 10 I had to stop the recorder for. I guess this is maybe a little bit further than I was at this time last time. But again, it's also after 12. I'm not as far. I guess all in all, it's at least equal, probably a bit further, I guess. I feel like I've had a bit of a migraine. It's mostly gone away. I think I'm just tired. My legs are sore than I remember last time. I took ibuprofen. I think that's helped a bit, and I stopped to eat because I realized I messed up with the GoPro and was filming at 240 frames per second instead of a time lapse, which is literally the opposite direction of what I was trying to do as far as saving space. Luckily, I have an extra SD card. But I'm gonna stop, maybe eat a bit more. I'm not really hungry. I feel like more is better. Overdoing it is better than not overdoing it. I just want to get to that furthest distance and then a bit further. So this is a success. I mean, I say success. I've still got to make it back. Making it back is hard. It's not just getting there, obviously. But I'm in the bad state of mind. It's easy just to get on a train. Not been updating as much as I would have liked. And maybe I'll throw in an update in the past. Future Josh from the furthest point I'm going. Let's see, I've been reading The Varieties of Scientific Experience by Carl Sagan, which is a collection of lectures that were put together after his death. And I'm enjoying it. The first one was a bit remedial in the sense that it was very introductory, stay in the sunlight, introductory into this planetary science and astronomy, but he was setting up a larger conversation on the word that starts with an A, that has to do with the universe being fine-tuned for us and sort of tackling that. So really he's just talking about major ideas in astronomy and this physics and the world, the cosmos as it relates to life, implications for life. Another one on the nature of space travel or looking for alien life, alien SETI. Another one on the nature of origin of life and the availability of chemistry throughout the solar system, which I think also touched on the idea of the universe being fine-tuned and the reality of just how flexible life probably is. And now he's talking about the nature of God and also, I guess, the limitations of God as we tend to think about him, it, or she, as opposed to all the different infinite varieties of God that could potentially exist and that nobody wants to pretend like exists. Like a God who is omniscient, not omnipotent, or the inverse. A God who created other gods. I mean, this is the myriad of things that he gets into. It's, I think, because the lectures, they're surprisingly accessible, probably because of the crowd he was presenting to. I'm enjoying it. I want to make a comment on this book and the last book, actually, that I'm still reading. The last ride, I was struggling with my nonfiction. Maybe it's just the books that I'm reading, maybe the headspace. That's something that's going well this trip, is I'm really pushing through my nonfiction in these two reads, and I'm really enjoying them, and I feel engaged with them in a way that I'm very happy with. We again reach our climax. This is the furthest that we're gonna go. I actually overshot my goal because I missed a turn, end up on these paths instead of on the street where the view stand or whatever it was located. We are about 71 kilometers from when I started this trek, or 82 if you include the 11 kilometers that got canceled in the last ride. About 60 kilometers from my stopping point from here back. So 60 plus 80, 140. Shit, that's so close to a centennial. 160 kilometers is 100 miles, which is what they call a centennial. It's what they call a century, not a centennial. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to push it. Like, I did not think I was going to succeed today, and I still have a long ways to go, but it's metaphorically all downhill from here. And I feel good. I feel more confident than I have this entire trip. And honestly, I wish I didn't go the opposite direction. Like, I thought, oh, I'm going to give myself extra time. Now I'm thinking I could have just kept going north. And now it's what I wish I had done. But I'm going to say that for next time. Maybe next time I'll push for that. I'll go to at least 150 because I think I'm getting close to getting like 140 this time. And if not 150, then maybe even 160 to get that amorphous centennial. I did not expect that would be within range while I'm still here in Perth, but I believe I can. If I time it right, I do everything correctly, I think I can. But let's get on with our ride. Probably find a place to stop again soon. I don't think I'm quite as bad off as I was last time, probably because I'm eating a lot this time. There are bugs gravitating to my gorgeous legs, and I am not about that, so let's get. I'm also been reading some of the short stories in Hellbound Hearts, which is a collection of stories I've been listening to all month outside of this ride, set in the mythos or world of the Hellraiser or the Cenobites. I don't know. Like, if I was loving this, I would push through it because I love Hellraiser. But this is really kind of a mixed bag. There were times where I'm like, this thing deserves to exist. I really like this. There were other times where I am very meh. And even other times where I'm like uncomfortable and in not a good way. And what it is that there is a line, and this type of content will appeal to certain writers who I think miss the point. And instead of exploring this sort of dark mythos, or really reveling in, I think, just things that I have no interest in reveling in. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm just being too prudish. I really don't know. But those are my thoughts on this book. I probably won't talk anymore about it, even if I do read it some more. This is a nice, quaint little area. I'm mostly glad that I really pushed myself to keep pushing to get here. When was the last time we stopped? I think this is from where we stopped. I'm definitely at the fog state now, probably because I didn't stop to rest. I haven't eaten a bit. So let's take a good hour-long rest or more. I think I have like 40 kilometers left. I can feel that fog hard. I definitely think eating more and stopping more often, while it may have slowed me down, kept the fog at bay longer. Let's get some flesh and my enemies. Just rice. And my quote-unquote vegan cheese. Tortilla. This curry actually turned out really well. I feel like it's very passable. It seems very oily, but I think that's the coconut. It's protein rich. Lots of veggies. Just very happy how it turned out. Today has just been, I don't know, a pleasant surprise, way to put it. I know I've gone further, so to say that today's been more successful, like a bigger accomplishment is like an obvious statement, but to say it's a bigger accomplishment, like regardless of the distance, it's really just a matter of defying my own expectations, which again, I cannot reiterate how strongly my own expectations influences my ability to push through or to go at all, honestly. I'm getting cold. It's like 20 degrees, which is like the high for today, which is perfect if I was in the sun, but I'm not. And I'm also drinking this huge smoothie, so like I'm starting to get chilled to me. I only have like 2 hours left, which isn't that far. That'll put me at, I believe, right at 140 kilometers for today, which doesn't just meet my goal of 125 or the planned goal of 135. It puts me above that. And it gets so close to that 160. Even though this ride has been surprisingly good, despite my negative attitude at the start. The books I've been reading are really captivating. Like even the one where I had mixed thoughts on, like it's fine. But like the two main ones, like, I guess I may not finish both on this trip. I feel like I'm gonna finish at least one. I have like 2 hours or less on both, which feels so small. If I had not dilly-dallied with hellbound hearts, I could have finished both, but as it stands, I know I can finish at least one. How Democracy Dies is, I should say, not just about Trump. Like, yes, Trump is the central focus because he is the problem with our democracy manifest, personified in a way. But the reality is the things that have caused this started way back. And right now we're talking about Newt Gingrich and, his rhetoric, his extremist rhetoric of, vilifying, terrorizing, like, people, convincing people that the other side are literal monsters. And that's like a major part of where it started. Now, on the flip side, interesting conversation that was going on was the role of FDR in really pushing the edge of our democracy, which I never really thought of it that way, but technically he did. One of the few people to push the presidency to 3 terms. He might have been the only one, I'm not sure. He also came very close to packing the courts because of them overturning their New Deal legislation, and there was a lot of pushback from that at first. That was again about Congress, including people on his team, pushing back against him to prevent the norms of our society from being pushed for the sake of our democracy. There is I think, a very relevant conversation to be had with that beautiful sun about whether or not the same conversation is a problem today. I feel like I'm not educated enough or unbiased enough to have this conversation. or try to trust what I'm saying entirely, not to have the conversation. There are legitimate concerns about the state of the Supreme Court, the way in which it's been managed, the way it's clearly being politicized, including the way it is, the type of rules or decisions it's making, to the extent that there clearly needs to be a significant reform. The way in which the Supreme Court is now just really emboldening Trump in this sort of degradation of democracy, like literally giving kinghood type power to him. The extent to which that kind of power is actually kinghood, we could debate it, but it is incontrovertibly far beyond anything as anyone has ever considered, or actually within the bound of what the president should be able to do. No one can honestly, educatedly say that, I should say. I'm gonna keep going. This is a great shot. If we can really I'm looking at skin today. Anyways, let's go. I'm honestly amazed at how much the fog is mostly gone. Maybe it's the fact that I took my second ibuprofen. That, and I think the food, I feel so good. I can't believe I'm in this feeling so good. Such a gorgeous view. You have no idea how amazing this is. Living here, experiencing this. It's surreal. Even a year and a half into it, it's still so surreal. My final words on both books. Let's start with How Democracies Die. Nothing substantial. I think what he had to say about what you could do next was interesting. He discussed a lot of the different pathways to go, and a lot of and how some are good, some are bad. Like the idea of Democrats not doing what Republicans are doing, where basically break more norms. You need to fight dirty, and how that really just emboldens demagogues like Trump to then retaliate, and it just feeds into the system. It expedites the process. So that really is on the way to go. At the same time, you don't want to just give up on some of the more polarizing things you're trying to do. Like what I really liked hearing him say was that what you have to do is you have to basically address income inequality. That is the major thing going on right now. He doesn't use the word late stage capitalism, that's really what it is. And he just laid out some basic steps we could take. And obviously that's not going to be accomplished by cutting the taxes on the wealthy even more. But yeah, a phenomenal book. Honestly, 5 stars, really well told, and I think just a very persuasive book, obviously. I'm acutely aware of the fact of how hot this topic is right now and how that can impact my interpretation of a book. But I'm capable of, I think, assessing both my feelings of a book and also some more objective qualities. While I know one will influence the other, I think I have some self-awareness there, and I really do think this book is pretty solid, independent of my own personal bias. Yeah, that was a lot more to say than I thought I did. Lastly, let's see, The Rise of Scientific Experience. This one I'm not quite as high on. It was a solid collection of essays. I'm not done with it, but I'm listening to now the Q&A section. So it's mostly done. It's like the epilogue of sorts. It's not my least favorite by any means. It's also not my favorite. I think he touches on these topics really well. At times that his introduction can be a bit remedial, but at the same time I think it works, especially in the concept of lecture, to create a narrative and tying that in there. Carl Sagan, he's good at one thing. It's creating a narrative by which to communicate the science and the philosophy. And that's very much is apparent here. Okay, we did it. We're here. All right. So where are we? I'll put on the screen. Remember, I'll probably also a composite map of all the different ways that I went. Fog is setting in. I feel better overall than last time. Yes, I'm feeling foggy, especially when I sit down. I think it's like I said last time, when I'm active, the fog isn't there, even just walking. But this has been good. There were multiple times when I realized on the ride that I was going to make it, I just started laughing. I almost cried just because it was just so satisfying. I feel like at this point, nothing special about it because I literally just did it 2 weeks ago. the longest ride of my life. At some point, it loses all meaning. But obviously, for me, it still means something. Part of me feels like maybe I could have done 160 if I really pushed myself, but I think it's better to, one, space it out for my body, but also for my own satisfaction. You know, if I want to do this, I can only go the furthest ever so many times before I reach my limit. I don't know what it's going to be, and I like having the opportunity to something to look forward to. I also want to make sure when I do that kind of big accomplishment, that I have, you know, all my ducks in a row. But that's okay. I have something to work towards now. I don't know if it'll be, again, half a month or a month from now. It really depends on the weather and how I'm feeling. And there's so much that can go wrong just kind of thrive. And the vibes, my mindset is a big one. Like until I'm on the bike, I don't even know if I'm gonna do it. So it really does mean a lot to me on a personal level that I managed to accomplish it. If I kept your interest, again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you come back for my next video.